little Kansas kitty, and I welcome you back to my weight loss surgery channel. I had the RNY gastric bypass surgery on June 25th, 2018, so that was 2 years ago. I'm post-op, 2 years. I started off my high weight at 238 pounds. I'm 5'6", I'm 40 years old. I lost 100 pounds, and I got down to 138. I created a maintenance range of 138 to 145, that's 7 pounds, and I have been maintaining for a year and a half now. Let's jump on the scale and see where I am today, 2 years post-op RNY gastric bypass surgery. As you can see, I'm 145, so within my maintenance range. I'm kind of in that same old regimen, and I think that's okay. I think that's something to celebrate because I've been maintaining for 1.5 years. What motivates you each day to be your best and practice healthy habits? As a daily weigher, for me, the biggest motivation is when I see that scale upswing. It freaks me out a little. I immediately jump on a keto-like diet and I just watch my carbs for a couple days and I can bring my weight immediately back down. Another huge motivator for me, I'm not gonna lie, is men. I've been like this my whole life, and when on a day that I know I'm gonna go see my man friend, I'm just much more disciplined on what I put in my body because I wanna feel sexy when I see him. And so when I'm disciplined, I feel good. And when I feel good, I know I look good. It's funny how much more attractive a person can look when they feel their best. Supplements wise, I'm pretty much taking everything I was taking before. I do spend about $50 a month on supplements, and I ran out of my Bariatric Advantage Calcium 500 chews, and I was on this bag of chocolate, and I was so excited to order my caramel again because caramel, let me just tell you, is the bomb. It is so yummy. I have added salt pills into my diet, and so basically when I'm doing long distance running, I take a salt pill, and I take that about every hour because when it's so humid and so hot out, it actually helps hydrate you and replace those electrolytes that you're losing during your strenuous activity. Also, I ran out of my collagen peptide chews, and taking them now for 2 years, I was like, are they even doing anything? And they've been on back order, so I haven't had them. And I've been out for like 2 weeks right now. And let me tell you, I've noticed some blemishes in my skin, and I can tell. I really think those collagen peptide chews have helped with my skin and just keeping things tight and blemish free. So I cannot wait because I should be getting my bag any day now. The other day I woke up with a severe headache, and I was at my man friend's and I didn't have any Tylenol, and so I kind of rummaged through his medicine cabinet and he only had ibuprofen, and I was desperate. And so I ended up, for the first time in 2 years, taking an ibuprofen. And as an RNY gastric bypass patient, you are to never ever take ibuprofen again. And usually it's not a problem because Tylenol will address any kind of pain or help with a headache for me, and I've done great. And so the reason you're not supposed to take any ibuprofen, which is an NSAID, is because it can create ulcers in your tummy. And so I took the risk. I went ahead and took one. Actually, I took two. They were like 200 milligrams. And it did take care of the headache, and it's not a habit that I'm going to get into at all, but I do just want to be upfront and say I took one 2 years later after RNY gastric bypass, and again, it's not a habit that I'm going to get into. I was just desperate. Nutrition wise, I have been playing around with some new greens that I received from Teamy, and you've heard me before talk about Teamy teas, and really great. And so I've been playing around with some greens, throwing in some omelets, and they just like, it's this powder that you put in, and you can also put it like with almond milk and drink it. And I've made also some protein shakes with it, and it is green. Like, it has that kind of green smell, that healthy smell to it, but oh my gosh, like a great boost of energy. So If you are interested in any teamy teas, I do endorse them, and I'm going to just flash my code that you can get 25% off if you're interested in kind of exploring their website and checking it out and ordering anything. Aside from kind of experimenting with the greens in this past month, another go-to that's been pretty much this week for me has been Ezekiel toast with some cream cheese on it and some everything but the bagel seasoning, some green chives fresh chopped up. I put some smoked salmon on there, a poached egg, kind of like a runny poached egg, and it's just like, it's such a good like replenishment kind of refuel after my runs in the morning. And then I usually have some like cherry tomatoes or raspberries or blueberries or something with that. In terms of lunches, I've been just doing salads a lot lately. You know, it's warm out, and so salads are appealing to me, and I always have a nice protein in there and various kind of proteins. I've been trying to bump up my iron because I noticed last week I was a little bit low or on the borderline of my iron levels for donating plasma. So in my salads, I do sometimes tuna fish, or I'll do imitation crab. Also, I love like turkey salami, like that turkey pepperoni, or even like canned chicken. I always dump in a nice hearty protein into all my salads. For dinners, doing a lot of grilling, and so usually some kind of protein and some kind of vegetable. I did have a really carb-loaded meal the other night. I made schnitzel and spätzle, which is a German specialty, and I was really proud to make that because I made it for my man friend because I want him to experience kind of that German flavor. But also my daughter, my Oma, which is my grandma, she's passed away now in Germany. She taught my mother how to make schnitzel and spätzle, and my mother taught me, and this time I got to teach my daughter, and it was just a nice tradition to pass along. And schnitzel is a pork. It's pounded down, it's really thin, but it is breaded. And then the spätzle is like a homemade kind of pasta and noodles. And so lots of carbs, but it was so good. It was so delicious. It turned out amazing. And I had to call my mom, and she was so proud of me. In maintenance, there are a lot of strong days, but sometimes I don't give a shit. And the other day, I have to admit, one of my guilty pleasures is lottery scratch-offs. I love lottery scratch-offs. Like, I get such a kick out of them, just like the dream of them. They're so entertaining, and they just make me so happy. And so the other day, it was that time of the month, and I was feeling like I was retaining a lot of water, and I went and bought myself a stack of lottery scratch-offs. I went and bought myself some candy. I had some banana Laffy Taffy, and my body was definitely retaining fluids, and I noticed I kind of had some cankles going on, like in the bottom of my ankles. They were just super swollen, and I just propped myself up on the couch, threw my cankles up on the ottoman, laid out all my scratch-offs, had my Laffy Taffy, and it was just like, oh, it made me so happy to just like kick back and have that guilty pleasure. And you're not going to make perfect decisions every single day, but finding some balance and enjoying some of those guilty pleasures here and there, I think, are totally okay. A good reminder that I want to mention is be kind to yourself. If you're on your period and you're retaining water and you're having these cravings, maybe just take a break from the scale for a few days, because sometimes that scale can have a negative impact on your mood. And if you're already hormonal, why do that to yourself? You know you can jump right back on track and get right back to healthy habits. Fitness wise, you know my fitness is pretty much running, and I'm running anywhere from about 55 to 75 miles per week. Every other week I drop back in mileage, and then I increase the following week. And one of my BFFs, she has this goal to run 50 miles for her 50th birthday coming up at the end of August. And the way that she's training is she's doing back-to-back long runs. And I told her, I will help you out with as many miles as I can, but I'm also going to just see what my body allows. And the other week we had a 20 miler. So we did a 20 on a Friday, we did a 20 on Saturday, and my body didn't respond well. I think it's just so hot and so humid out that I was completely exhausted like that second day. So after 40 miles, and I took 3 naps on that Saturday. My body was just zapped, and I was so unproductive, and I didn't like feeling like that all day long, that I decided that I really need to listen to my body, and I'll do as many miles as I can, but I just don't know if my body is meant to do that many miles, especially in this heat. So I have been doing a lot of trail running. The trails are amazing at this time of year because a lot of them provide a lot of shade and trees, and it will actually almost impact the weather, your run, by 10 degrees, like almost 10 degrees less, so much cooler. So I've been doing a lot of trail runs. My brother's running with us, and just, enjoying running. This week I decided this was going to be another long mile week, and we were supposed to do 22 back to back. And I just decided I'm not going to do that. I will go ahead and do 22 and 22, so a total 44, but I'm going to do it over the course of 3 days. And so that's what I set out today, this week, and it felt so much better to kind of spread that out. So Thursday, I ran 22 miles, whoop, whoop, and that was the only reason I did 22 miles on a Thursday before work is because the weather looked good. It was a little bit cooler, and sometimes you just really have to take a look at the weather for the week and plan accordingly. This is important often in the winter when you might have an icy or snowy day, and it's also important in the summer when you may have a drop in temperature. You need to take advantage of that weather because it can really impact your run. And so we did 22 on a Thursday before work, and it was kind of this fun lake run. We ran around 4 different lakes. We had some rain, which helped cool us off, and we also saw a double rainbow, and it was a good run. It was tough towards the end. Had to kind of mentally talk to myself and say, "Come on, girl, you got this." And it was a good run though. Ran 13 on Friday with my brother, so that was yesterday, and that was fun too. We just ran out on the trail about 6 miles in. We were talking, and my brother was pointing out all of these daisies and flowers that were along the trail, and he was like, Mom loves these so much, and this is the trail that Mom and Dad come out on a lot. And I was like, oh, that's nice. And I tend to look down while I'm running because I'm watching my footing, I'm watching my steps, and all of a sudden I looked up and I was like, is that Mom and Dad? And he was like, yes, I already saw them a ways out. I was like, what? And so 6 miles in, we saw Mom and Dad, like my hippie parents, out on the trail doing their morning hiking on the trail, and it was pretty special. They're very nervous right now during this whole COVID-19 time, so they have their masks on, and they took some pictures. We took some pictures, said hello, and then we passed them and went along, so that was nice. This morning I did a solo run of 9 miles myself, and it was raining again. Yes, oh my gosh, the rain is so good for me because it just helps cool you off. And so I did, again, 22, 13, and 9, got in my 44 miles over the course of 3 days. I think the important thing with any kind of fitness is to listen to your body. It's going to tell you when enough is enough, or when you can start to increase and do a little bit more. NSVs, my brother built a rock climbing wall in his house, and the other day we went over to celebrate my niece's 19th birthday, and guess who was the only adult that went climbing on the rock wall? Yep, me. I mean, total NSV. Come on, could I do that at 238 pounds? Hell no. When I was donating plasma the other day, the lady that was doing my vitals, she had the computer screen up so she could see my age, and she was like, you look really good for your age. And I was like, thank you. The next week when I was donating plasma, the lady that was doing my vitals, she was trying to put the blood pressure cuff around my arm, and she was like, having a little trouble. She's like, your arms are so tiny. I was like, wow. Well, thank you. I remember a time a couple of years ago when I hated photos of myself, and oh Lordy, you better believe I wasn't going to be in any videos. I would delete any photos and videos of myself because it was just like, it was eye-opening, it was embarrassing. I just could not stand the way that I looked, and it was really depressing. You kind of just hole up in your big body and you avoid mirrors and cameras to the fullest. Now, presently, not to be conceited in a way, but I document my life in photos and videos, and I just feel so confident and so good. And so, whether I'm just snapping with my kids, or I'm snapping my man friend, or I'm doing fun, silly TikTok videos with my daughter, I'm confident and I feel good and I like what I see. I really like cherishing the moment, and I can say that now, 2 years post op and in maintenance, I love myself. And when you love yourself, you glow from the inside and you become that person that others are attracted to. I was listening to a speaker series that we had at work the other day, and we're bringing in different CEOs, mostly to talk to our interns, but also inviting it and making it open to the entire company. And this specific CEO said, remember Yaya. So Yaya is you are who you associate with. This is really fitting for us weight loss surgery patients who are trying to be better than before. And just think about the 5 people that are closest to you. So you're going to start to think alike. They become your influencers. You're probably going to be wearing the same brands and the same shoes. Surround yourself with positive people who are going to compliment and push you and encourage you to grow and be the best version of yourself.